President Biden's climate envoy, John Kerry, is in Beijing today. He's urging China to cut methane emissions and reduce their reliance on coal. Now, China was the world's biggest polluter in 2021, emitting nearly 11.5 billion metric tons of greenhouse gases. John Kerry refusing, by the way, to call Xi Jinping a dictator ahead of that trip. Watch this.
The president called Xi Jinping, called him a dictator. Do you believe he wields the power of a dictator today in China?
There's no question at all that President Xi is the major decider of the direction and of the policies of
Is he
China.
in fact effectively a dictator?
Well, I'm not. I don't think it's useful to get into. I'm not going to get into.
But he does wield the power of.
He wields enormous power as the leader of China. Absolutely.
Joining me now is Alabama Congressman Jerry Carl. He is a member of the House Appropriations and Natural Resources Committee. Congressman, good morning to you. So many questions to ask you.
Good morning, Cheryl.
By the way, let's remember here that it's China that is now restricting rare earth minerals and other exports. They're the ones that are now going after us and saying that they're going to. I mean, they're threatening to now pull elements that we need to produce electric vehicle batteries, which of course is what President Biden says is going to save the world. Your response?
We've argued that with the Biden administration for the last 2.5, 3 years. We've got the resources here. You look at the Iron Range up in Minnesota. We've got all the resources we need that they're shutting down. When I say they're shutting down, the Biden administration has stopped mining. We have in Alabama, we have metallurgical coal that we need to get out for purposes of making iron products. They've shut it down. This administration has done everything it possibly can to shut down every natural resource we have in this country. And we're paying the price, and we're paying it through this, what you see China doing right now. They'll start putting the squeeze to us.
What did you make of John Kerry refusing to call Xi Jinping a dictator? President Biden called him a dictator. And then John Kerry's over there saying, please work with us on the climate. Please stop with the coal-powered plants, Mr. Xi.
Well, I'm sure John Kerry makes a tremendous amount of money off the Chinese government with his business and his business background, his family's background. So he's probably being a little cautious there. I don't agree with it, but I guess I understand it. But it is what it is. It's a communist country, and there's a dictator there, and it's simple as that. You don't have to be a Harvard graduate to know that much.
Let's talk about Taiwan here for a second, because obviously, you know, Xi Jinping and the Chinese, I mean, the threat to Taiwan is real. And so far, that really has not come up because, just to point out the obvious here, this is the third Biden administration official that's been over there in just the last several weeks. And this is on top of the fact that before Janet Yellen went over there and Antony Blinken, that they were going after our emails and they hacked Gina Raimondo's email. This is China.
So we have to get a president in office that can push back on China. We can take some tariffs. We can shut down some business with China and start crippling China and make them rethink taking over Taiwan. Beating Taiwan in a war is not something that we want to do. But what we can do is we can beat them on the economical, in the market. But we've got to have leadership that's willing to do that. Look at the tariffs that we have in place now. That what little it seems to do, it's at least holding them back. But there's a lot of things they need from America that we can start tweaking this. Again, if we had a strong leadership to get it done, and we can prevent a lot of things from happening in Taiwan. We can certainly prevent a war from breaking out in Taiwan.
All right, let's talk about this. Former President Trump joined Maria on Sunday Morning Futures yesterday, and he was Go ahead.
That was one of the best interviews I've seen Donald Trump give in a long time. My hat's off to him. I think Maria brought out the best in Donald Trump in that interview. I was so proud of him.
Well, you know, and he reacted to a big story that we've been following and covering and debating, and that is the Secret Service closing the White House cocaine probe without any suspects or any leads. They talked about it. Watch this exchange.
I don't think it's possible for bags of cocaine to be left in a certain area by the Situation Room. I'm not talking about, 5 blocks away. the Situation Room, where you decide on war.
Are tourists allowed in that area where the cocaine was found?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think only people that have strong passes or family members are able to go through those doors. It's very interesting. I was much nicer to Biden in speeches. I respect the office of the presidency, and not that I was perfect with him, but I could have been much tougher. The last few weeks I've been very nasty and very tough and very truthful. He's a corrupt man. He's a corrupt president. He's grossly incompetent.
Congressman, your reaction?
I totally agree with the president. I've visited with President Trump. I've been in that room a couple of times myself. I'm not that familiar with it, but I promise you, after the dogs get through sniffing you and you go through all the metal detectors, I don't know, unless it's a staff member that comes in the back door and or someone in obviously the president's cabinet or family. But you know, my attention is more on the border. My attention is more on trying to get some things fixed. We've got to stop the bleeding. I'm not real sure that's not a distraction, trying to distract us from the real problems. I mean, we've got a sex trafficking trade in this country that's second only to the slavery back in the 1800s. And no one wants to talk about that. So we've got some real problems, and I've just, you know, the cocaine issue, there's a lot of young people on this hill. I'm sure there's a lot of experimental drugs. So I want to focus on the southern border. I want to focus on some of the stuff that we need to get fixed.
We also focus here on the economy. And, you know, you had President Biden taking a big victory lap after the CPI report came out last week that showed inflation at its lowest level in over 2 years. The president claiming it's Bidenomics. Well, the New York Post editorial board, they're slamming this as a campaign strategy. And real quick, I want to read this to you. President Joe Biden has made it clear he's running for re-election on his economic record. This means he'll have to lie through his teeth, hoping voters ignore what they see in their own wallets. Congressman.
So you watching some of the old science fiction movies, and it's got people walking around and they hear this reel, this tape, this, oh, things are so good out there. Oh, you're so blessed to be here. And it goes over and over and over. And after a while, people start believing it. In fact, if you look at where this president's at today, prices overall are up 17%. The core inflation is still around 5%. So that means real wages that you and I make are 3% lower with this president. Now, you can go tell anybody whatever you want to tell them, but in reality, we're 17% higher than we were when he took office. We're 5% core inflation higher, and we're 3% less in our income. Now, I don't know how you can go and brag on that, but this place called Washington, D.C. is famous for whipping a good story. And if this is his story, we should be able to push back and explain to the American people, simply take them to the grocery store. When you've got a pineapple that costs you $7 here in Washington and $4 back home that cost $2.70 2 years ago, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And you can't brag about that. You can't hide from those prices.
That's the question. Are you better off? Well, no, people are going to say they're not. Congressman Jerry Carl, it's always great to have you. Thank you for being here. Come back soon.
Great to be with you. Good morning. Thank you.